Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Tin Man's Corner channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey the Clown Tin Man today. And the reason why I'm wearing this mask is because my third and final reaction video today is the Spooky Vibes channel. And the title of the video is 3 True Clown Horror Stories. I'm going to turn the lights off, move the camera back up here for you guys. And let's get this show on the road and in the bag. Okay, here we go.
When I was a teenager, one of my favorite things to do was to smoke and drive on some back roads. It really helped to ease my anxiety and just forget the realities of the world for a little while.
I know a lot of people smoke just to help with anxiety problems, but once you get hooked on it, it'll be hard to stop. It becomes addictive like a drug. And that's how there's a lot of people that got lung cancer now because of it. So please don't even try to smoke. It ain't worth it going to the hospital because your lungs are all blocked up with tar. But anyway, let's continue with this story and see what happens next.
One night, my girlfriend and I were driving down some back roads and smoking a joint while jamming out to some music. There was this one road I would drive on frequently that was on a slight cliff that had an incredible view of the town below.
Right.
We parked there, smoked some more, and just talked about life and what our futures would look like. After an hour of talking, I realized I really had to take a piss. And for a better context, this road we were on was pretty much surrounded by miles of trees and woods. I told my girlfriend I would be right back, and got out of the car to take a piss. It was dark at this point, and the only real lights I had were coming from the high beams of my car.
Okay, that's already a sketchy, scenic image just pop in my brain. You're just driving on like an area that has a bunch of trees and no other cars in sight. Perfect spot for anybody to jump out and ambush you if you parked your car.
I shut my door and just walked a few feet into the woods to try to find a tree to go on. As I was doing my business, I started to hear this laughter. Think of whenever you were in a haunted house and one of the actors was laughing behind a corner. That's what this sounded like.
That will be creepy to hear in the woods. I'll be like, okay, hurry up, pee, flow out quickly, and then go.
At first I thought maybe it was my girlfriend, but I looked back at my car and could see her sitting in it on her phone. I started to get a bit freaked out because the laughter seemed to be really close by. But since it was dark out, I couldn't see too far into the woods. I finished taking a piss and was about to head back to my car when I stopped dead in my tracks. Not even 10 feet from me, I saw this clown peeking out from behind a tree. He was painted all white, had on black eyeshadow, with ridiculous overalls on. I nearly had a heart attack. The clown was now looking directly at me and continuing to laugh. We both stared at each other, me in terror, him in some twisted amusement.
Oh, that would definitely give you nightmares for life. Seeing a scary clown guy in the woods while you're trying to do your business.
I took a step back, and that's when he full-on sprinted at me. I bolted back to my car, shut it, and locked it. My girlfriend asked me what's wrong when the clown suddenly jumped on the hood of my car. He had a knife in his hands and started slashing and stabbing at the top of my car. Scared out of my mind, I put the car into gear and hit the gas. The clown flew off, and I drove as fast as I could until we finally made it back to my house. This happened about 5 years ago. I still have that car, and the slashes from the clown's knife are still on there. After that happened, my girlfriend and I never went back to that spot again.
Now, I wouldn't blame you because you definitely don't have another run-in with that dude. And plus, I don't know why you want to keep that same car with the scratches of that clown's knife in it. I would have already had all that repaired and probably sold it just to get another car. So you won't be remembering all this all over again. But I'm just glad you got into your car and locked the door shut quickly and sped out of there before he was able to slash your tires or break one of the windows to get to you. But anyway, let's get to story number 2.
This story happened when the new It movie had come out by Stephen King. I was still living at my parents' house, and I remember in my neighborhood there would be red balloons tied to all the sewer drains. I know that people were trying to be creepy, but I actually found it kind of funny.
I'd be like, why are people doing that? I mean, I get it, since the new It Pennywise movie came out, people want to do that, but if there's a lot of people that are scared of clowns and they saw that movie, they don't want to see all the red balloons. They'll probably have little scare attacks thinking that there's a guy hiding underneath them sewer drains.
And cool that they did that. One night, I had my best friend sleep over. We were doing the usual teenage stuff like playing PS4, watching stupid prank videos, and stuff like that. Well, my cell phone was dying, and I realized that I didn't have my charger on me. I looked around the whole house, and remembered that I accidentally left it in my dad's car from earlier that day. I asked my dad for the car keys real quick, and went out to the driveway to go and get it. At this point, it was about 10 o'clock at night. I went into my dad's car, found my charger lying on the floor, and grabbed it. I shut the car door and was about to go back inside when I just so happened to look out at my street corner. Standing there were 5 clowns. They all either had on masks, makeup, or crazy outfits.
Oh, heck no. Make sure your dad's car was locked, which obviously if he has the key, he probably already did that, but run into the house quick before they charge at you.
But each were holding a red balloon, kind of like Pennywise would. At first I thought it was sort of funny, because this was a sight you don't see every day. I yelled at the clowns, nice costumes, expecting them to say something witty or sarcastic back to me. But they all remained silent. Then the first clown, who was standing closest to me, pulled out some kind of pin from his pocket and popped his red balloon. The pop frightened me. Then, without warning, all 5 clowns started running directly at me. I realized this wasn't some kind of joke, and immediately turned around and started running back inside. I locked my front door and cried out to my dad, who was in the living room, that clowns were attacking me. He laughed at this at first, but then one of our windows shattered. A brick had been thrown through it.
Okay, first of all, if you see a group of clowns, I wouldn't even try to gauge at them. And if one of them pops a balloon and they all start charging, that's a good sign for you to run. I'm glad he got in the house quick enough. But I'm surprised that his dad did not believe him until a brick was thrown through the window. I mean, your boy that was running in fear won't enough to convince you otherwise? Call 911 or get a weapon to go confront them a-holes.
My dad got out of his chair and ran upstairs. He came back down seconds later with his gun and opened up the front door. When he did, there were no clowns outside anywhere. He literally searched the entire neighborhood, but was not able to find them. We ended up making a police report about the broken window, and the police informed us something chilling. There have been recent break-ins and attacks in the neighborhoods around us. The witnesses said that it was 5 men dressed as clowns responsible for it. And what sucks is, these clowns were never caught. I have no idea who they were, or what their intentions were if they were to actually catch me before I made it inside. Now I can never look at clowns the same way again. They're already terrifying as it is, and I'm still haunted from that night. If you ever see a clown in your neighborhood, please be cautious. You never know what their intentions might be.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through all that, but not all clowns are scary. There's some nice people in makeup that are trying to make a living as professional clowns. But all these a-holes dressing up like them or wearing clown masks instead of makeup, and they go out to scare people, that's what makes the whole public's perception of clowns negative. Because if you see a clown wearing something like this, I know you'd be running for your life and be scared of them forever. So, a word of advice: if you see clowns that are around kids handing out balloons where there's adults, don't worry about them. They're paid to be there. But if you see clowns that are like walking around and then they start staring at you with a creepy smile, those are not real clowns. They're just dummies and idiots.
Last year, me and a bunch of my friends decided to go check out this carnival that was happening in our town. It was one of those church carnivals where they transform the parking lots and streets around it into family fun time for everyone to enjoy. Me and my friends were walking around and having a good time. We went on rides, played games, and ate tons of funnel cake. When we were looking for the next ride to check out, I noticed that there was also a clown at this carnival. He was by himself, and he looked more like a sad clown than a happy, fun one. When I first saw him, I thought maybe he was just on break or having a bad day. But that's when I noticed that he was looking directly at me. Like, not just for a second or two, but full on staring at me and my friends. I started to notice that anywhere we went in the carnival, he would be close behind us.
Okay, I was about to say, going to a carnival is always a fun place to go to because you get to have fun riding these carousels and other rides, but also getting cotton candy and other fair type food and play these games. But if you see just one clown just walking around and then they just keep following you, I'll be a little concerned.
Or watching us from a distance. And then I noticed that he didn't actually seem to be doing anything clown related. He wasn't making balloon animals, making kids laugh or anything. He was just a clown walking around. Me and my friends started talking about this, and we came to the conclusion that he might not be a part of the carnival at all, and just some weirdo dressed up as a clown. It was around 9 o'clock at night, and that's when I knew it was time for me to head home. I only lived a few blocks from the church, and it wasn't a far walk. And I said goodbye to my friends, and we all went our separate ways. I'll be honest though, as I walked home alone in the dark, I couldn't help but get the feeling that that weird clown might have been following me. When I finally made it back home safe and sound, I told my parents goodnight and went up to my room. But not even 10 minutes of me being home, our doorbell suddenly rang. Wondering who it could be, I made my way downstairs to go check it out. I looked out the window and the peephole and saw no one standing there. My dad asked from the basement, who was it? But I told him it was probably some pranksters. I decided to open the door to see if I could see anyone by the street or trying to hide. I opened the door and didn't see anybody. But what I did see was this red squishy nose that had this pink balloon attached to it. I picked it up and saw that there was a tiny sticky note attached to the balloon. I pulled the sticky note off and read it. It said, "I'm always watching you. From your friend, Cuckoo the Clown."
Oh, heck no. Creepy that he just left you a balloon and a rubber nose. And he said he'll always be watching him. Then I'll be running down to the basement where Dad is at and tell him this was on the porch.
Freaked the hell out. I ran and showed my dad what was on the front steps.
There you go.
My dad did a search of our whole property, but didn't find anybody. I guess I can't technically prove this, but I'm certain that it was that clown from the carnival who was watching me. And I have a strong feeling he had followed me home and left that little gift for me. And I've always had an irrational fear of clowns, and that incident only made my fears worse. Nothing ever came of this, and I don't go to carnivals or anything else that has to do with clowns.
It's those type of clowns that need to be arrested because they're just making the whole entire public image of clowns look bad. Now, I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me on this, but I feel like if people have chlorophobia, which is the term for people that don't like clowns, they should go get therapy just so they could try to get over it. Like, look at anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more spooky vibes related content like this. This has been another successful installment of Tin Man's Corner channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. I said that's a wrap. Have a nice day, y'all.